hope it works.
Coming to you live from the Hellmouth Adjacent. It's a popular cinema podcast. I'm your co-host Payne.
And I'm Bill, and Payne, your microphone level seems low.
You know what seems low is your inability to just stay silent while I cue up our music and start the recording.
Did I not stay silent?
No, you went like this. I hope it works.
Everybody counts on my little verbose bon mots to start the show off anyway, so I'm just giving
You're,
the audience what they want.
you're like you got like ADHD over there. You're just like this. I'm starting broadcast, and then it goes, it pauses, it's silence for 3 seconds, and you're like, hello, is it working? Is it not on?
Like I said, the more Bill, the better for these people. So everybody wants a piece of Bill.
All right. Anyway, Bill, today is May 12th, Mother's Day. I don't think we've ever done a podcast on Mother's Day.
Probably not. I can't recall that we have in fact done that. So maybe this is our first.
Yeah, yeah. So, let's give a shout out to all the mothers out there.
Well, sure, absolutely. Shout to the mother.
So I was sitting here because I think I called you and told you to be prepped for the show because I was thinking that there was going to be a Mother's Day brunch over here at my household.
Was there not?
And no, because apparently the one kid doesn't get up before noon. Okay,
Really?
and yeah,
Not
we
even for
scheduled
a
it.
special day?
Yeah, you know how.
Okay.
Listen, you know how these young people are. Under the age of 23, they're like, I don't even know my mom's birthday type of thing. Like
Wow.
whatever.
Okay.
So yes, I sat there and I was like, well, it's 11 o'clock, and then his sister goes, "Yeah, apparently he hasn't gotten up ever before 12. So she goes, there's a slight chance that won't work. And I was like, huh. So now the time is being pushed to 6 o'clock for breakfast for dinner.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, we're going to be having waffles, sausage, bacon. You want some French toast, eggs over easy. You're going to
So
have
at
some
your place, it's
mimosas.
going to be Mother's Night, not Mother's
Oh,
Day.
it's Mother's Night. Superfan Melissa might be dancing to It's Mother's Night, and I'm
And the
feeling right.
feeling, oh, what a night.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you know that. What do you know the Cool in the Gang?
Really? I grew up in the
I mean,
same fucking America that you grew up in.
listen, you were listening to Pet Shop Boys mostly on George Michael. I didn't know if
That
you had
was before
Cool in
the
the Gang.
Cool in the Gang was way before the Pet Shop Boys.
Okay.
We're
That's good
talking
to know that you
70s.
had some flavor before then, because it's
Wow.
almost like all the flavor got sucked out of you.
Well, I'll just let that comment go because I could make a crude follow up, but
I
I'll
know.
just
Thank
let
you.
it go.
Listen, we're still PG. We're still PG on Mother's Day, 5 minutes in.
Well, I'm glad you're
So,
doing something this evening. That's nice.
yeah, the kids, you were going to make mimosas. Is that actually, are people under 21 allowed to have mimosas? I think there's
Well,
alcohol
it's
in them.
champagne. I mean,
Is that
champagne and
alcohol?
orange juice.
Okay. Is that,
I don't think it's like the heaviest drink you could drink.
don't act like you're from Europe. You're just like everybody can drink 15, 12, whatever.
Well, are you having 12-year-olds to the party? So then you don't need to worry about it.
There'll be a 9-year-old at the party, but I don't think that's.
You can make a virgin mimosa with ginger ale.
What was the first time you had an alcoholic drink?
Probably when I was 5. Can we move on? I don't know why we have to bring this discussion.
Well, that's good. At least it wasn't before. You would have fetal alcohol syndrome, so at least you're
Wow.
past that point. Then I mean,
We've
5.
discussed this before. I told you about the Kool-Aid punch I used to make with the beer and the Kool-Aid.
Oh, I find that. Is there something as a product of our age, or you seem to be immune from this? Because, like, my woman will say something to me, and I'll be like, "You just told me this shit like 6 hours ago." Okay, I'm aware of this story, and then it'll be another 2 days later. Did I tell? Yeah, you told me 2 days ago, 3 times. It's like the third time you're telling me now.
Act like you remember. Go ahead. You don't remember shit. You can't remember shit that happened in high school. You can't remember shit that happened last week. You can remember some shit that happened like 5 minutes ago, but that's about the extent of your old man remembering.
Yeah, it's weird. I can remember insignificant details about certain things, but
Yeah, weird stuff that like no one remembers, but significant shit, it's like never happened to you. You have like selective amnesia.
yeah, there's got to be something about that. My psychological profile.
Mhm.
Anyway, we were watching this show last night on television. It was on Dateline because we do crime dramas in this house,
Right.
and this kid murders this girl, and it's just fascinating. I think Dateline does a show. I think it's like every Friday, and it's 2 hours. There's no need for the show to be 2 hours, Bill. But
Well, then
they
why is it
they
2 hours?
I don't know. I mean, would you tell me they have sponsors to pay or something else? It's just so long, and
It's cheap.
after what you call the Netflix bloat,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous now. Like you just need to have somebody in there paring the shit down.
It's cheap programming. What do they have to get? Some like intern to do some research, a couple of news file footage clips, and a host. Boom. Primetime show. I mean, that's why it's 2 hours because they're stretching that shit for get the maximum for the money.
Can I know this is very specific, but the kid's excuse was I snuck through the window, and as I snuck through the window, I came into the room, and she was actually being held at gunpoint and knife point by a guy in a masked man, and he told me to go ahead and choke and stab her, which I did because that's what he told me to do. Ah,
So
he got,
is this trial over? Is it
oh yeah,
proven
yeah,
that he did this?
he's in prison for 42 years.
Okay. Because he said some strange guy told him to shoot his sister?
Well, actually, if you looked at the evidence, there was only one person that was probably in the house, and it was him. But he
So
went
he's
with
making the thing up about the guy in the room.
yes, yeah. There's like one set of footprints that was his, and he's just like, yeah, there was another man there, and he told me to do this, and I was like, oh my god, okay. And he
Did he
told me to
think
like,
that telling somebody some other man was in the room was going to get him a better sentence?
yes, I think that was the case, but he was also a young individual, and but yes, that's what he went with. And
Okay.
it's the type of thing where you're just kind of rolling your eyes as you're listening to him because he was confessing to this, and you're just like, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, let's move on. So I'm looking at Mother's Day movies, Bill. Is there
I saw that.
what's that?
I saw that you sent a link about that.
Yeah. Well, when I put your name and my name on it, it's usually for the podcast. So
Right.
I'm looking at some Mother's Day movies, and I don't know if I've really ever turned on a movie because of Mother's Day or thought of a movie as specifically for Mother's Day. But there's certain things that at least Google seems to categorize as Mother Day's movies.
I
Steel
think that Google is
Magnolias.
a little full of itself, to be honest, with
You
that
think so?
nonsense. Yeah,
Did you
I
see
don't think
Steel
there's really.
Magnolias?
I did, but I don't know if I classify it as a Mother's Day movie. I mean,
Sure. Go ahead.
I guess it's a movie about women, so I guess that counts, but it's kind of
Is
in the
that
most
is that
broad
is that
sense.
the how we're defining Mother's Day? A movie about women?
Well, I mean, that seems to be the criteria for Google. When I was looking at some of those movies, it didn't really seem like any of them really had any kind of like straight Mother's Day connection. It just
How about
has,
Freaky Friday?
eh, not really. Do you think?
No, I guess it just involves a mother. I guess that's
Yeah. So,
what about Mamma Mia? No, Mother's Day movie?
I mean, it's a movie that involves mothers, so I guess it could. I guess you could watch them on Mother's Day. I just don't know if any of them really has anything to do with the actual holiday.
And Mamma Mia is the one where she's like sleeps with three different men but doesn't know who the father of the child is. Is that the movie?
Right. That's a
Okay.
Mother's Day.
Uh-huh. That sounds like quality entertainment, huh? All right, whatever. How about Mommy Dearest? 1985.
I mean, if you hate your mother, maybe that's a good Mother's Day movie to watch. If you're like, anti Mother's Day, maybe.
I don't know if the new generation will ever be able to see Mommy Dearest and appreciate the craziness of that.
I don't think
Uh,
so. Speaking of like old time movie heroines, did you see that trailer for the Judy Garland movie
no. What
with
was it?
Renee Zellweger?
Uh-uh.
It
Is
came
that
out like
Renee
Friday.
Zellweger? Does she look like Renee Zellweger, or is it like that
She
new?
looks like Judy Garland, but she sounds like Renee Zellweger.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking of like old time movie stars, and I don't know. The gays are going to love this one because Judy is like the patron saint of the gays. So
Is when I think of Julie Garland, I think of just Dorothy, right?
yeah, I mean, she had a career besides that. I mean, that was her like
Like doing
first
what?
big gig. I mean, she was like a singer. She was in movies. She did like all kinds of like movies and like shows and stuff.
So why is she one of the patron saints of gays?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. She is just considered to be like when a gay person has a best friend, they call them their Judy. It's named after Judy Garland. I don't really know because she had a like. I think it's because she had like a tragic sort of like ill-gotten life, and the gays identify with her a lot because they go through a lot of like persecution and stuff. And I don't know. She's
Oh,
just
okay.
considered to be like one of the gay icons,
Okay.
like the
Um,
Cher or the Madonna of her day.
looks like she died over a drug overdose.
Yeah. She was
Huh.
an alcoholic. She was a drug addict. She was like hot mess in her adult life. She was a child star, and then it sort of fell apart when she grew up.
Wow. It says that upon Garland's death, despite having earned millions during her career, her estate came to $40,000, which would be $275,000 in 2019.
Yeah, they
Whatever.
said she pretty much died like poverty stricken, although $275,000 would be poverty stricken to me, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Now you want me to read about Judy Garland. I still
We'll
don't
just watch the
understand the.
trailer.
Oh, it says here. This is Wikipedia for what it's worth. Here, it says actually under her legacy,
Hmm.
it actually has a paragraph that says gay icon.
Yeah.
Garland has a large fan base in the gay community and became a gay icon. Reasons given for her standing among gay men are the admiration of her ability as a performer, the way her personal struggles mirrored those of gay men in the United States during the height of her fame, and her value as a camp figure. In the 1960s, a reporter asked how she felt about having a large gay following. She replied, I couldn't care less. I sing to people.
Well, now you know.
Insert a burp.
Wow.
um, well, Bill, this
Anyway,
is our
watch the
show.
trailer.
We're educating people. I'll watch the trailer. Speaking of that, I watched the Token trailer finally. The
Hmm.
word that comes to mind, I find, is contrived. Um, there for the people out there, there's a movie coming out called Token,
Yeah, it's out
obviously
now.
about J. Oh, is it out now? J.R.R. Token.
Yeah.
I don't know, Bill. I feel as though that some of it's just ham-fisted. With the guy sitting there going, "What are we?" And the guy goes, "I think we might be a fellowship." It's almost like they just throw out buzzwords, or whatever else,
I will
or situation.
probably end up buying the Blu-ray just because it's about Tolkien and I can put it in my Lord of the Rings collection and I can watch it in the peace and quiet of my own home. It's not one of those that I feel like I am interested in it, but not enough to go see it.
I just rather you just read the Token, like if there's some sort of biographical book. Can I get you just a
Oh,
biographical book?
if I read, that would be a thing I would do, but I don't read, so unless it's on a internet or a Twitter or a Instagram, I don't read it.
Did you hear that about the weird ending and about Detective Pikachu?
About the weird ending? No.
Yeah, apparently there's some sort of twist ending that gives the movie a little bit. I guess it's a spoiler alert for. I don't know if any of our fans would be really going to see Detective Pikachu.
Well, maybe
Um,
Nadia would take her kids.
oh, that's true. I guess so, but that's all fine. Then Superfan Nadia doesn't care about the. Apparently, Pikachu, like the kid that's in there, his
Yeah.
father dies, and that Pikachu, the voice of Ryan Reynolds, apparently that's his father in Pikachu's body. Um,
Okay.
but he kind of like there was some sort of swap of like in order to save his life, Pikachu had to give up its soul and then inserted the soul of his dad in there. But he doesn't have any remembrance that's his son, obviously, when they're hanging out and doing their stuff together.
His son is the black kid?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's probably more biracial, but that's fine. Okay, that's
Whatever.
cool. Does that
You
make
know,
you want to see more? That it's got some sort of I don't know.
I'm not going to see Detective Pikachu. I don't care if it has, Mein Kampf as like the excuse for why his father is in his body or whatever. I'm just gonna not go see it.
Listen, like Judy Garland, it might feel like I'm hyped up on some sort of drugs or barbiturates, but I'm not. But I'm skipping around. That reminds me when I mentioned superfan Nadia. My sister put down her dog this weekend. Superfan
Oh,
Nadia.
Perry?
You didn't know?
I did not know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
that sucks.
She
I'm sorry to hear
posted
that.
something on Facebook, but we're not on Facebook. That's
No.
something we have in common. That
Well, I
she
will. I will have to text her my condolences. I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, it was Friday, 5 to 6, and they used Laps of Love. Um,
Is that where they come to the house and
yeah,
do it
which I
there?
haven't talked to her to find out exactly how it goes. Like if they hold hands and then she like walks Perry into a back room. There's some noises and then she drags out his carcass or something. I don't
Really,
know.
Jay? Really?
I'm joking. I got two
Uh,
dogs
I
over here.
wonder if it might be too soon for your sister, who does listen to this show, to hear you joke about the death of her dog in such a manner. I
Trust me.
apologize, Presh. I can't be responsible for him.
But anyway, I'm very curious of exactly how the setup goes and do they stay and all that other stuff. But there's no
Why are you looking
obviously.
towards your future of possibly using Laps of Love?
I looked it up. As soon as Superfan Nadia mentioned it, I looked it up. But the thing about it is, of course, there's no Lapse of Love by the Hellmouth adjacent. Not even in the Hellmouth. Hellmouth
Really?
adjacent. Nope. So
I find that puzzling.
I don't know how my sister would feel if I brought like Ferg down there and just said, "Hey, we want to use your residence to kind of like you know."
Wow, really? Okay.
But what they did do was nice for Perry's last week. They gave him everything he probably
Yeah,
couldn't have because like steaks and cheeseburgers and
sure.
French fries. He ate like a real champ. So, um, note to self:
Well,
if I start
that's
being really
very
nice to
nice.
you, you should probably be a little bit wary of that.
Start
Um,
looking for the Laps of Love van around the corner.
yeah, there you go. So, Bill, word on the street is, are they doing a Matrix reboot?
I haven't really read the articles because so far it's kind of like rumor material. So I don't think it's anything with a real possibility. But if it does, I would be excited.
Are you serious?
I am. I like the Matrix trilogy. So I would not object to a fourth version. I don't
The
think it's a
Matrix.
reboot. I think it's a continuation.
Okay, The Matrix came out in 1999.
Mhm.
If you're talking about a reboot, I don't know why we'd be doing a reboot of a
I don't
movie
think we're
that's
talking about a reboot, though.
okay. So they're thinking about a continuation of what you're saying.
That's what I heard. Again, it's all conjecture right now, so I'm not putting too much weight behind it.
I guess the Wachowskis need to do something, huh? They just really haven't. I mean, outside of The Matrix, they really haven't done a lot that's been good. I mean, some people like Cloud Atlas. Do you like Cloud
Successful
Atlas?
anyway.
Successful. Yeah, okay. Do you like Cloud Atlas?
I did not.
Yeah. Jupiter Ascending?
No.
Speed Racer.
No.
I can't think of what else they've done.
Sense8.
What?
Sense8.
Oh, Sense8, the TV show. Oh, that's horrible. Did you ever finish? I love busting your chops over this one.
I
So,
know. I don't really get it.
how many seasons of season Sense8 are there on Netflix?
Two and a 2 hour finale, I think. Movie.
Yeah. Did you ever finish the first season?
No, I haven't. I don't know why you get so much pleasure out of that. A little odd, but okay.
I mean, this whole thing. Eh, yeah. Oh, there it is. Sense8, 2 seasons. Um, I guess it's because at some point you just lose interest on it. What are you all? We're all connected. It's all this metaphysical. I'm you, you're me. It's so weird. It's not even weird in a good way. Just weird.
Well,
Um,
to me, it's more it's. I hate to sound like a total dummy after just telling people I don't read, but it just requires a lot of like attention and thought, and I don't know if I really am up for that right now.
okay, you haven't been up for it for like 2 years. This came out like in 2015.
Well, right. I mean, I have to be in a mood. The mood hasn't hit me yet.
Is it like the Schindler's List move for me? Beast of No
Yeah,
Nation?
yeah. You just it feels heavy, and you don't really necessarily want to devote like mathematical skills to apply to a television show, so you just skip it for now.
Okay. Well, speaking of Judy Garland, let's just keep it in the gay household,
Wow.
gay realm out there, our Rainbow Nation. What's the deal? I saw something that came across my information file that talked about that Marvel is going to be having a gay character.
Well, that's what the Russos
Gay
said in
lives
an
matters.
interview.
What's going on? What's happening?
The Russo said that there will be an introduction of a gay character in the MCU that's already been established sometime soon. So, having already been established means we already know this character. And you and I both saw Endgame and questioned, I don't want to sound too cliche, but the haircut that they gave to Captain Marvel seemed a little butch. So, that was a question mark. And then there's always been the question mark about Valkyrie, because there's a cut scene from Ragnarok in which she, I think, has some kind of interaction with that woman who gets killed in Ragnarok. That's like supposedly like one of the other Valkyries, and they were like doing the doo doo.
I remember.
So, I mean, that's the two big ones. I
But
mean,
but the whole idea is if you wanted to kind of push this envelope, that if you're going to go down this road, that one of the characters I would think would have to have a significant presence in the universe, like not just a side character that shows up and on the screen for 5 minutes. I mean, if
well,
Valkyrie
right,
is
but
going to be like a major player, then that would make sense to me. But that's kind of like
I
a
think they
throwaway.
have plans for Valkyrie, and Captain Marvel clearly is going to be a major player. So if it's either one of the two of them, those are major players.
Hmm, okay. Are you cool with
Um,
that? Is that a good start for Marvel, or does that make you happy? Or you were looking, did you want a gay
um,
male
you know,
character?
you know,
Not that
you know,
somehow that you're pushing this boat, but
I would prefer it to be gay male character for my personal feelings about the issue, but because I think that's the more brave and bold choice. I think in our society, lesbianism is somehow considered less of a violation than gay homosexual male. And I think if they really wanted to push buttons and really wanted to move the thing forward, then having a gay male character would create more of a, I don't know, push towards diversity.
yeah. Let me ask you, what makes the introduction of a gay character, gay superhero in a comic book movie significant when we've had other gay shows and gay people and gay movies, whatever else
It's the
from
same
that
significance that Black Panther held for Black America when that came out, and everybody flocked to the theater. Everybody wants to be represented. Everybody wants a seat at the table. Everybody wants their piece of the pie. So,
piece of the pie within a certain universe.
right, within an established, pretty much the most successful movie franchise that's out there right now, um, hasn't been done yet. So, yeah, everybody wants to say, I'm represented in that super successful franchise.
Do you think what Marvel's doing in terms of actually just making superhero movies is actually changing the dynamic or the fabric of how people see certain things? Or is it just within this self-contained universe that Marvel's being successful and that, hey, by the way, we've introduced Captain Marvel, and let's say they come out and she says gay, and then Captain Marvel 2, then all the gays start like going to Stonewall and walking down with assless chaps down the street and going to the movie.
Ugh, really?
YMCA.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're all
anyway.
going to be walking down the street with Captain Marvel assless chaps singing YMCA. Really?
All right. So anyway, so all of
Could
a
you
sudden,
get any more offensive?
I know. So everybody flocks down to it and goes and sees it. Is that is Disney or Marvel in their superhero universe helping change things?
Well, sure. I again, the more you make something representative and it becomes successful, the more successful it becomes, the more likely that somebody else is going to copy the formula and make something similar or something looking like that, and then the more chances you'll have of people becoming seen, and more roles like that will come around. So
I
yeah,
gotcha. It's a slowly like a building a wall, one brick at a time, huh?
yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I think it's important. I think you know, I'm looking forward to being represented as a gay person in the MCU.
Okay. It's interesting. It looks like the Matrix. Did the Matrix come out in May of 1999?
Yes, it came out right before Star Wars. Well, April '99.
Listen, the Matrix poster game was strong when it came out. I I mean, I don't have a lot of posters. I don't have any posters, but if I were to have a posters, I might do the Matrix.
This is
Uh,
the 20th anniversary of it, by the way.
oh,
Obviously,
the Matrix is just so. It's. I remember seeing that movie in a theater
right?
and coming out having my mind blown. I probably called you.
Don't remember
Um,
that.
what's that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I probably called Superfan Carlos. I think I went back to see it again. I think my mind was completely blown.
Well,
So
a lot of
cool,
people's
so
minds were blown.
stylish. What's that?
A lot of people's minds were blown over the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing to be like you make something, and even if you don't make anything else, which clearly they haven't for me,
Wow.
that's worth the salt. They've done something that's just iconic. I think will stand the test of time. I
Sure,
don't
but
know.
you know how Hollywood is. What have you done for me lately is the mantra. So
Mhm. Well, they
I
gave them enough rope, and I mean, they gave them enough string. I mean, it's not like somehow they haven't been able to make movies, even if they had some failures. They were still making blockbuster stuff. Jupiter Ascending, Cloud Atlas.
but if we're talking about successful, then that's another story, financially, at least.
Speaking of financial, I saw there was an article out there that talked about um, who is it? Zoe Saldan. There's only been like $5 billion movies or something or whatever, 2 billion. I don't know what it is, but Zoe Saldan has been in like three of them.
Yes, and it's Zoe Saldana.
Whatever.
Ugh, I'm getting you that thesaurus. I swear to God. Um, the name thesaurus.
Uh,
So yeah, I mean that's kind of historic.
yeah, she's sort of like a underrated Samuel Jackson.
Okay.
Just always into something, making money, making bank, but not necessarily a headliner. You
What
know,
are the
just
three franchises? The MCU franchises,
well,
the Avatar franchise,
you
and
have
what's the third one?
Avatar. What? Um,
MCU.
and
Or are they breaking the MCU into two franchises because she's at Guardians of the Galaxy and in the Avengers movies?
okay, only five. Yes, only five movies have grossed over 2 billion. And Zoe Saldana.
Thank you.
Is it Saldana? Is it Zoe? It's
Yeah.
not Zoe Saldana.
No, it's Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, I don't really hear her names too often. So they've given it to her in Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and in Avatar.
Right.
So,
So two franchises basically, because if you count the MCU as one franchise, then Avatar would be another franchise. Um, I mean, you could even count really the Guardians movies separately in the MCU because that's a totally different franchise than the Avengers movies.
mhm.
So that's actually three franchises that she's in. That's kind of unheard of.
Yeah. The thing about it is, this article is terrible that it doesn't give me all five movies that have grossed over $2 billion.
They just give you the three ones that she's in.
Yeah, this is
Right.
stupid. Why would I? I would want to know that.
Well,
Anyway,
Titanic is another one. Maybe I'm not sure what the fifth one is.
we're running a really poor operation, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell me something we don't know.
so we lost one of your icons over there in your Star Wars franchise. Peter Mayhew died.
Yes, about maybe a week ago.
Well, we weren't on the show a week ago. Last
Well, I
episode
know.
was April 30th.
Chewbacca, the original
Um,
Chewbacca.
The original
Some people are
Chewbacca was.
confusing him for just the voice, but he was actually more than the voice. He was in the suit too. So
So who was in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi?
his name is Eunice Suetamo, and he is the heir apparent to Peter Mayhew in the Chewbacca costume.
And is he just as tall as Peter Mayhew?
He is.
Oh.
He's a little
And
taller.
um and is he bringing his own style to Chewbacca, or is Chewbacca supposed to be
Well,
this is
he studied at the feet of Peter Mayhew for The Force
this is
Awakens.
this is so hilarious. Okay. Uh-huh.
And Peter Mayhew gave him like tips about walking and body language and holding your body a certain way. So he took that and then moved on to Last Jedi. Obviously, he's in the Rise of Skywalker. He was in the Solo movie. He's kind of the heir apparent to Chewbacca at this point.
Does he have any type of fan following, or is it like that's kind of going the way of the dodo now that you're getting rid of some of the old
I think he has a
original
fan following. I
characters?
mean, obviously, it's not as huge as Peter Mayhew, but he's at this point played Chewbacca, I think, in more films than Peter Mayhew did. So his fan base, I'm sure, will grow over time.
So what's the deal with the Star Wars release dates then? Keeping it on Star Wars.
So we got 3 release dates for the next unknown Star Wars trilogy, and in and amongst the Avatar sequels that are going to be coming, which are 4 of them. So it goes like this: 2021, 2023, 2025, 2027, all December, all Avatar sequels on odd years. Then the even years starting in 2022, 2024, and 2026, we will get 3 new Star Wars trilogy movies, but we don't know what trilogy that is. Is it the one that Benioff and Weiss from Game of Thrones are working on, or is it the Rian Johnson trilogy that he's working on? Or are they working together? We don't know. That's all they announced was the dates. Again, all December.
So 2021 is Avatar.
2023, 25, and 27.
So they're giving James Cameron, because this keeps being pushed back.
Right.
So
It
they're
was
giving
supposed to be
him
out
like they're
2020.
like, you know what, we're gonna stretch it out here. He's like, when can you? They're like, when can you have the movie ready? He's like, I'm pretty sure I can have it ready by uh March of 2020. They're like, yeah, whatever, December 2021. Just get it done. More than enough time.
I'm sure
You've
it's
got
more
two
like
years.
James
2 years.
Cameron.
Two.
It's more like James Cameron has said, I can't get this movie done by 2020. Because that's James Cameron's modus operandi. He's always late and he's always over budget on everything he does. So,
He's been working on it. This is the type of shit that's just kind of like, if it was Game of Thrones, I'd be pulling my hair out, but it's not. He's over there creating an underwater language for like jellyfish. It's Chris Nolan that's gone like off the rails and crazy, going, I wrote a book and this is a specific language for the insects to talk to one another. We came up with I don't care. I don't care. Um, I don't want to go to record because I feel like last time we did this, it was like what, Black Panther and with Ant-Man and other things like that. But I just, I mean, I have to take into account if there's some sort of extra technological advancement he makes and some thing that just looks cool or some sort of like super action, that would be an exception. But I just don't know if the story or the characters are that fascinating.
we had the same discussion in 2009, before the show was even born, our show, about whether Avatar 1 was going to tank because everybody was going to be rejecting the Blue Smurfs.
The Blue Smurfs, yes.
Guess what?
But I remember the blue. I felt it was part of the thing was it was all right outside of the Blue Smurfs and James Cameron. It was also like something your eyeballs have never seen before. Like I've got new panoramic cameras, and I'm doing something that's like bullet time from the Wachowskis. You got to see it. I don't think anybody was sitting there going like, "This story is like, oh yeah, I got to go check out this Avatar story." It seemed, but apparently,
It's
so,
the
you know,
highest money making. Well, its crown is about to tumble, but it took 10 years for it to happen as the highest money making movie of all time.
yeah, I felt like it's not deserved. But my point of the matter is, I have my doubts out there about Avatar 2. What is it? Avatar 2?
Too, yeah.
Right. Where are you at on it? Don't doubt James Cameron. Where
I
you where you
don't would never bet against James Cameron as my prediction as far as success. Are you asking me, am I clamoring for the next Avatar movie, like sitting here
Oh,
going, counting down the days on my countdown clock?
oh no, you're
No.
not. So
So,
with Star Wars now, it's coming in 2022.
correct. So there'll be a three
So it's like a
year,
3.5 year hiatus from
right,
now.
correct. Well, it'll be 3 years
Well,
by the time the Rise of Skywalker is out.
okay. Um, you're cool. You think it's that fine? You like the plan?
I think it needs to take a rest. So I am cool with the plan. I think 3 years is long enough for them to get their ducks in a row. I think it's smart for them to take a break because I think America is approaching the saturation point with Star Wars right now. And yeah, I think it was wise for them to delay or postpone or whatever, take a break for a while.
So let me. Are they going to be doing any other Star Wars films in between that?
No, they'll have TV shows, which we already know. The Clone Wars
Right.
is
But in
coming
terms
back.
of movies, they're not doing
No,
any solo projects,
no,
individual projects.
no.
Okay. That's interesting. I like it more, to be quite honest with you. I like the idea.
Well, I mean, there was a 10-year hiatus between the episode 3 and episode 7. So it's not the longest time that anyone's ever waited for a Star Wars movie, but it's long enough to maybe give people a break.
For me, I feel like the perception of the idea that we're slowing things down and we're taking our time. It's one of those things. It's what is it? I don't know this. I'm going to butcher the saying because I'm kind of talking a mile a minute here. I don't know. Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered, whatever else. I feel as
Okay.
though they're going to get all the money to begin with. They just don't need all the money tomorrow. Like you're going to get it.
Well, Jay, they have every movie in the world coming out this
Right.
year alone.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. There's no need for to sit there and be like, we've got to put out double Star Wars, one in June and one in December. I'm worried about. I'm thinking more of quality control. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but the perception is that you're just churning out some shit. You're hiring some kid from high school. I know that's not true, and whatever you would say, Kathleen, they have people behind it. But I think eventually it becomes like you're becoming a factory instead of taking a story and just really trying to generate something epic. You're just putting some shit out there. Next thing you know, it's going to be like, oh, that little blue guy that played in Return of the Jedi. We're doing a solo film on him too. You're just like whatever. You're going to get all the money. You're going to get all of the money. I like the idea that you're taking your time and giving me the idea that we're going to focus on these properties and really try to make something grand. You know,
Speaking of making all the money, did you
oh,
hear that there was a conference call, like an earnings call for the board of Disney the other day, where the chief financial officer said, even though they're going to make a shit ton of money on an Endgame, the profits aren't going to be that high
oh,
because the movie cost so much money to make.
yeah, I did see that. I didn't get a chance to click on it because I was running around, but I did see the headline. Do you have the
So this
details?
movie makes 2.5, maybe $3 billion, and they're not going to make that much money on the movie because you know why? Because everybody and their mother was in it, and it cost them an arm and a leg to get people's schedules to work around all of the filming. So apparently, it's the most expensive movie ever made, and we're talking
Heaven's
a
Gate?
cost.
Beating on Heaven's Gate?
We're talking about 450 to $500 million total, including print and advertising.
Well,
That's a lot of money. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I see. Well, hold on. This I hope this doesn't play while we're here. Um, I see the article that you're talking about.
mhm.
Wow. I what do you think? Well, what are your thoughts on that then, Bill?
I don't know if I have any. It's just interesting factoids.
I mean, it's the same thing. You're what do we say? It's always best to make something probably for 5 million and then pull in 500 million. I
Well,
mean,
right.
but
But
that's very hard to do. But you're making a blockbuster for 150, $200 million. Obviously, you're going for the 2 billion, the $1 billion mark now.
I
It's
think in the
it's
grand
like me
scheme of
betting what
things,
$5 at the casino and I win like 30. Nobody's interested in that.
I think in
Um,
the grand scheme of things, in a situation in which you have a franchise that has 22 number one successful films in it that made a total of like 18 to 19 billion dollars, I think you can fucking suck it up.
yes, which goes the whole point of going. You've made a lot of money and had one of the most successful franchise, if the not most successful franchise movies over a span of time. It's going to cost you more, and therefore you're going to probably have to make more, not make as much. But you're generating so much goodwill and so much good press, and setting up your whole new movies later on in the future. You know,
Yeah,
um,
I don't think
that's
Disney's
what I'm
going to go
talking. I
anything
think
in the
that's what I'm
poorhouse.
going back with. Like, you don't have to be greedy. Like it's a long term game. You can keep making hands over fist of money, but
So supposedly the stock price has not increased due to the success of all the movies. Like it's maybe moved the needle a little bit, but not much. The biggest jump they had was when they announced Disney Plus, and the stock apparently has leveled out since they announced that news. So I'm thinking we should probably, still have a chance of like jumping on that stock train because it's
okay.
apparently not like, through the roof at the moment.
Right now, it's holding steady at $134.
A share?
Yes.
Well, we can get a couple shares, right?
Yeah, if we look at the PCP the account to see what we got, and for all the people that are out there paying for their subscription, the
Really?
52-week low is $98, and the 52-week high is 142. So, yeah,
Hmm.
nothing wrong with having Disney in their stock. They're not going nowhere. Um,
Except up.
oh yeah, yeah, okay.
I mean,
Super
if Disney Plus takes off, it'll likely be the
stock.
next Netflix.
What's that?
If Disney Plus takes off, it'll be like the next Netflix.
I wonder. I'm sitting here thinking if we were to sit here and actually, when you have when does Disney Plus drop?
November 12th, the day after my birthday.
So if we're going to be at once, we are able to share a password. Do you think that Superfan Melissa is going to rat us out since she has Disney stock and we might be cutting into her profits because
I
we're not
think we can
actually
count
paying?
on her discretion. I just a
Okay.
guess, but I think we can count on her discretion.
I want you to know if I start buying some Netflix stock, guess who's paying for their own Netflix subscription?
Wow. Okay. All right then.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a purge. I'm going to start hunting down people. I'll be like, "So you're
Really?
sharing your password, huh?" All of a sudden, there's going to be like an anonymous call to the Netflix office,
Really?
unauthorized sharing. I tried to share my PlayStation View account with the stepchild over there in Nebraska,
Hmm.
and what ends up happening sometimes is I don't know if the internet drops or whatever. She tries to log in. My PlayStation View at Hellmouth adjacent lets me know that somebody unauthorized is trying to log into the system, and I've had to call a few times, and it's kind of awkward because I don't think that's the way it's supposed to work. Like I can't just upload all my passwords to a Fire Stick and then send it to you over to California. Um,
You don't think they're going to get suspicious when you keep calling, going, "Yeah, I don't have an authorized unauthorized use. It's authorized use on my account. It's authorized." You know, you don't think they're going to be like, hmm.
uh, anyway,
So did you get it to
so
work
the
again?
Star Wars park is opening up. Did you see that they're not opening it up, but they're going to be having, what is it?
Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
It
a
is
time
It's like
limit
Star
for,
Wars Land.
yeah, a time limit for how long you're supposed to be there.
No, what's the time limit?
4 hours. They're going to give you a band, like a red color band, and then after 4 hours, if you don't leave, then stormtroopers will escort you out or something like that.
Well, that's because I'm sure it's going to be fucking nuthouse that for like the first year or 2 years while it's up. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even dream of going there for the first couple of years.
Well, with all the bodies banging around with each other, trying to.
Yeah, we're trying to get in there. Yeah, it's going to be a madhouse. No thanks. I'll wait.
You're being a Star Wars fan. Are you interested in going to Star Wars Galaxy
I
Edge?
am. I am,
Oh,
but I'm not interested in going while it's total lunacy.
newsflash is always going to be that way.
I don't know. I mean, after a while, the novelty will wear off for people, I think.
You're going to probably have to go a time where like people can't you got to pick some sort of obscure time like November 8th or something
Right.
like that.
That's fine.
But what makes you interested in going? What's
Well, it's Star
the
Wars
draw?
land. It's an immersive. It's like Harry Potter land for Star Wars fans.
Mhm.
It's immersive, interactive experience where like you can order blue milk at a bar and visit and sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and stay in a Star Wars themed hotel and eat in a Star Wars themed restaurant. It's like obviously any Star Wars fan's dream.
You said fit in the Millennium Falcon. I have a story to tell you.
Okay.
I was in Disney, was it Disney World, and I was getting on there with one of the one of my old girlfriend's kid,
Mhm.
and it was like some sort of like mine ride, and I always wanted to ride in the front, the first seat. So I'm up there with the child, and we go to get in, and this is what happens when you end up making fun of other people. The shit ends up happening to you, and I get in, and then I realized that I was so big, but compared to the ride, I could barely like fit in,
Right.
and I could barely get the bar down. And I remember I was having a panic attack looking at this like 18-year-old kid going, "Don't start this ride because this shit's not locking." Okay. All right. I need it to be locked. And the kid's embarrassed next to me. And I'm like, I can't help it. This shit's not made for me. I don't know what the problem is. And the guy's like, it's locked. And I'm looking at him going, there's a lot of give. There's a lot of give in this.
Really?
And so
So did you stay on or did you demand to get off or what?
no, I stayed on because I think probably the embarrassment of going, I can't, no, I stayed on. But
Did you
luckily it wasn't
apparently
like
not fall out? So
yeah, it wasn't like a loop de loop. It was sort of a kid ride, but I think it's not designed for people of my.
I'm pretty sure the Millennium Falcon is going to be designed for adults. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, okay.
My
Why do you
guess.
say that? Because of Chewbacca?
No, because they know their audience. It's for families. They're not just going to design them for kids. No way. They're designed for 40-year-old, 50-year-old men.
Okay, all right. That's hilarious. That's sorry.
Yeah.
This replicas, there's missing some of the extra buttons. I've kind of this yeah. Okay, you're right.
So,
What else here?
would
Did you
you ever
see
consider
the
going to Star Wars Land?
what's that?
Would you ever consider going to Star Wars Land?
Oh yeah, I would consider going to Harry Potter Land and Star Wars Land. I think my significant other is not interested in it. She also, to use my word of the day, contrived. She finds it to be something that she would not do. So
Okay.
she'll go to probably the Universal Studios, which obviously is not connected over to Disney, but to drag her over to,
Well,
uh,
Harry Potter is in here is in Universal Studio.
is it?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a go. That would
I
be a
mean,
go. I don't think she would be down for it. But I think any of the behemoth franchises, she's not in it. So I don't, it may have to be.
well, she can lay by the pool at the hotel while you go visit Harry Potter Land.
Well,
That's the
that's
beauty
not
of it.
fun. Then I'm just like some sort of like pedophile walking around the park, like getting on rides. That's weird.
Maybe you could make it a family trip and take one of her kids with you. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The kids that are over 18, they'll love that.
Well, doesn't she have grandchildren too?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Now you've hit the sweet spot. Yes, yes. You can always pawn off things on
Yeah, the
grandchildren.
grandkids.
Yeah. Arcades, all sorts of shit that
Right.
most people would look at you and roll your eyes. That's the way you. That's smart. Good call. But anyway, I
Mhm.
would absolutely because I mean, it's architectural design. How did they put it together? How are they running it? How are they? They're
How
making
about
something
just you like
immersive.
fucking Star Wars and you want to go visit a place where Star Wars is all over the place for a day or so?
Well,
That's
yeah, but
okay.
in between that, you've got people like you walking around with like Avengers Endgame T-shirts, sitting there going, "Where's the hot dog stand?" Okay, that's not.
What the fuck? Are you
I-
reading me for being a fan? What the
well,
fuck?
I think if you really wanted to make it like Jurassic Park, why don't you do something where you just price out people? You sit there and be like, you know what? We're only going to allow maybe 20 people into our Star Wars land. It'll be like Westworld on HBO. You just up the ante. The average ticket might be $150. Screw that. Now the ticket is like 3 grand a person. You
And
know,
what is what? Why would this be? What is this designed to do?
because then I won't have to sit there and like have people bump into me and rub up against me and smell like sweat and some other kid yelling for cotton
You are
candy.
fan shaming fanboys. That's what you're doing. You're
I'm not.
fan shaming people.
I don't want to fan shame. What I want is to have a fully interactive experience and not have some kid sit there and be like, ah. You just cut out the riffraff.
Okay.
Now, I would be part of the riffraff. I'm just
Uh-huh.
saying. I, I think I would love it for it to be a Westworld experience, minus the killer robots. Just
So
you
adults
know,
only is basically what you're saying.
well, it's not even a problem with that. It's just that there's not because it's going to be so crowded. You got like 50 people trying to cram in to order blue milk. You know what I mean?
Right.
As opposed to um, a normal size busy bar where you can place an order. You've been in a busy bar where you're just sitting there going, I can't even make my way to the bar to order a drink.
Right.
And, that's what I picture it. Like everybody's going to be in there trying to do this. Everybody's in there going to be trying to buy a lightsaber. You're going to, your first thought is going to be, do I want to feel like braving and sitting in this line for 20 minutes to drink blue milk? And you're just like, whatever, I'll just come back and go do something else. I mean, that's sort of what I'm trying to think you should cut out.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway. So, did you see the trailer, Bill, for HBO's Watchmen, the teaser trailer that dropped?
I did, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Why don't you feel about it? It looked very cool and stylish,
Kind
polished,
of. Sort of. It does not look. I don't know. I thought it looked a little cheap, to be honest with you.
cheap. With the nylon
Yeah.
mask? Is that the cheap
The
part? Or
nylon mask and then the blue orb thing with the spinning rings around it all look like they cost about $2.50.
so is this whole project being headed by Damon Lindelof of Lost fame?
Yes.
Okay. Um, what's your concern about it then, outside of it
Just,
looking cheap?
well, the other concern is that I just hope it's, what do I want to say? That it's a story that needs to be told and it's not just filler to fill a story in to make a show out of something that doesn't necessarily need a show. I hope the stories are significant and new and original and interesting. And, supposedly it's set in the Watchmen world, but it's in modern day versus Watchmen being set in the 80s. So, it could bring commentary about the state of the world that we're in now and the presidential situation we're in now. And, it could, being political in its orientation could potentially be a sort of thinking man's comic book TV show, which would be
Okay.
cool.
So you own, well, I mean, we're fans of the Watchmen. I still haven't seen, was it Tales of the Black Freighter
Right.
or the extended version of Watchmen?
So there's two extended versions. One
Okay.
includes the tales of the Black Freighter woven into the movie.
Is that animated or is that not
It is
animated?
animated.
Okay.
And then it has one which is just the director's cut, which is an extended version of the theatrical version of the movie, but does not include the animated Tales of the Black Freighter woven throughout.
And if I was a person who just saw the theatrical version of Watchmen, what would you? I mean, I understand like the extended version of the Lord of the Rings, and Two Towers and Return of the King were a necessity. Like I feel like you should even just get rid of those theatrical versions. Like,
I
does it
think the
need better?
theatrical version for Watchmen is the same way. I think you should definitely at least watch the director's cut. But if you want the whole experience, the whole enchilada,
So,
which
is
I
it
think
something that's like that changes? How much does it increase the liking of this movie? Like, does it really
I
add?
personally feel like the ultimate cut with the cartoon woven throughout it is a bit much for me. It's a deep dive even for me. Um, I think it's sort of the animated story sort of coming in and out of the movie sort of breaks the movie up too much and breaks the through line of the storylines and the characters. And I think whereas the director's cut without the cartoon, because the cartoon is it's it's a bonus, but it's not essential to the understanding of the story. It's kind of like a parallel story within a story, but you can live without it and still get enjoyment out of the story. So I would think that the director's cut is the way to go for a theatrical version.
Okay, but you're not giving me what I'm. Is the director's cut? Well, um, something that's like, oh, this is heads and shoulders above the theatrical version.
Yes,
Huh. I mean, you have that on that movies anywhere.
I do not because it doesn't. I have the ultimate cut on there, but I don't have the director's cut.
Oh, okay. All right. Is the director's cup available on HBO?
I don't know. Here's
I'll
what you
have to
can
check.
do: watch the ultimate cut on Movies Anywhere, and just fast forward through the cartoon parts, like you fast forward through everything else you watch.
Well, that's insulting, but I'll take it. That's fine. I find that I give a lot of backhanded compliments. I notice that when I watch Tex
Uh
and
huh.
other things, I
Uh
give a
huh.
compliment, but there's always a backhanded. There's some other slight in there.
Yeah. How do you like it? Not your favorite, huh?
I texted my sister. I sat there. I go like this. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. By the way, I think you're doing a great job as a mom and raising two very, whatever young boys.
Mm.
Which is surprising because when I was taking you, I remember dropping you off at college. I go, I didn't think you would make it, and I felt like drowning you in the river. I'm glad I didn't.
Wow.
Or something like
How touching. Any sister would just cry over her luck. I just don't.
oh,
I can't imagine.
she was
Couldn't you
so
have stopped that
nasty.
sentence? Well,
What's that?
couldn't you have stopped that sentence right after, like, you're doing a good job raising two boys?
I
Period.
know. You're
Then.
right. I could. I just could because I just remember like, oh, she was so difficult back then. So
Oh my
difficult.
God. So she
Um,
wasn't having it. She didn't have. She didn't feel it.
no, she wrote something like what you would say to me. I go, you kind of gave me. I like your compliment masquerading as a backhanded slap or something like
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
The Watchmen teaser. It's stylish. It looks cool. It's HBO. I'm intrigued. I'm not a fan of Damon Lindelof per se. I feel as though Lost was a great show, but I feel like it didn't really have its mythos all the way planned out. I always felt like it didn't know it was going to be a hit. And once it became a hit, they were scrambling in my mind to try to figure out like how to explain this thing and how to advance the story, which I
Right.
don't think they did not stick the landing for me. But those first couple seasons were very strong and it was very interesting storytelling. So I don't know if this is going to go the way of that, where it's maybe might be very intriguing. But you're right. I hope it has something to say and it advances and a story to be told. I think that's as opposed to retreading something. Um, I mean, isn't this the whole idea of going, you want more of something that you liked, and we're going to give you more, but we have to keep it somewhat within the realm of that universe to make you happy. Um,
I think I told you this off the air the other day. I want a linear story that's understandable, that I don't have to crack some kind of like code in order to access, and tells me I don't want Twin Peaks. I feel like they have maybe a license to go Twin Peaks because it's on HBO, and I just want them not to do that.
Okay. You know what I'm singing right now in my head? It's
What?
Mother's Night, and I feel all right.
Oh,
Cause it's
what?
Mother's Night. Oh, what a night.
Okay. Well, you've given me an idea. I should probably have breakfast for dinner. That'd be nice.
You think
Nice
so? Some
change.
sausage, some bacon.
Yeah.
Um, there's this thing that Chris's father used to make, where it was like egg in a hole.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know
Don't
this?
you remember that time when you came down and we went to the bar, the Arlington Cafe, and got real drunk, or at least I did? And I remember stumbling into the Kroger's because it's right around the corner from the place. And for some reason, I wanted an egg in a hole. I don't know. Like, I never eat that. Like, I don't ever eat that. But it was like one of those drunk things where you're like, you have this craving for a specific food in your head. And you're like, fuck it, I'll just make it. I'll make sure I have bacon right now. I have to have an egg in a hole. So, and we went over to Kroger's and I made the egg in the. Do you remember that? You don't
I
remember that?
do
It wasn't
not
that long
remember
ago.
that.
It wasn't even that long ago. You see what I'm talking about? Selective amnesia.
It was
It was probably 10 years ago. But I
okay.
mean,
That's pretty long.
okay, still. Anyway,
So how did you
so
make egg in a hole? Because
told,
I've never
told in a
heard of
hole, or told in a hole, it's called, I think. You just use a drinking glass and you cut a circular hole in a piece of bread.
it.
And
Yes.
you put the bread in a frying pan and you crack the egg and put it in the hole. And then you turn the toast over, and it makes like an egg inside the piece of toast.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I
Well, I'll
remember.
be. It's like an egg McMuffin. Is that what it's like?
No, not at all. It's not at all like an egg muffin. It's like a piece of toast with an egg in the middle.
Oh, I get it now. I'm seeing it. But apparently, the way her father made it was like cut open like a can of tuna. Well, maybe you know what? Actually, never mind because I think he was making the hole by using the can of tuna to create the hole of the bread.
Sure, or you could use a drinking glass or any cookie cutter. Yeah,
Okay. I may have to watch a YouTube video. I'm gonna have to YouTube it, Bill.
it's really, Jay. It's not that hard. Get a piece of toast, get a drinking glass, put the toast in the pan, stick the drinking glass like a cookie cutter in the center of the toast or the bread. Then make it,
So you cut
close,
out that center piece of bread.
right? Pull that out and throw it in the trash, and then put the egg, crack the egg in the hole that you just made with the
Doesn't
glass.
the egg overflow the bread?
Not really.
W- Well, if you're using, okay, all right, go ahead.
I mean, it's probably better to use a thicker piece of bread, like a Texas toast piece of bread.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And then you just fry the egg inside the toast and flip it over on the other side. It's like a piece of toast with an egg in the middle, toad in the hole.
That's okay. So what's the difference between just kind of throwing the egg on the grill and then flipping it and then just making a piece of toast and putting them together?
It's not made inside the toast. It's two different pieces of food, whereas this is one whole piece of food with an egg in the middle.
I'm gonna try this toe in the middle egg hole in a thing later on tonight. I'm very excited about trying something out. I'm gonna maybe go with some eggs over easy, dip some toast. There's gonna be some sausage and bacon up in this bitch. It's gonna be so.
This
Oh,
is you know what you're using this whole Mother's Day breakfast thing excuse for, because it just so happens that it works out perfectly for you to be able to have as much bacon as you probably want.
right, because I've given up the bacon, and so
Right.
now, except for special occasions, and guess what? It's Mother's Night.
So when it's Father's Day, are you going to make the same thing, or?
We don't do Father's Day in this household. I don't do Father's Day.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how that's going to work. So,
Or you know what? If I were you, I'd think about it because bacon.
yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, that's bacon, bacon, bacon.
So you know how you've been really upset about the direction of Game of Thrones in the past since season 8 started, so the past
Yeah.
few weeks.
You notice how we've been an hour into the show and I haven't mentioned anything because
Right.
I go Cujo
Well,
when
I'm
we
only
start talking about
mentioning it in order to segue into my own sort of mini diatribe on the
it.
Agents of Shield,
Ooh, I like it.
which I have. Guess what we've done? Given it up. There's 2 seasons left, and I think I'm out.
No.
I think so. And the reason why is because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for some inexplicable reason, has decided that since the snap has happened, that it's too hard for their writers to sort of cohabitate with the movie universe anymore. So, because they didn't know when their season was going to be, and they couldn't give away spoilers for Endgame. So now they've just completely separated themselves from the timeline of the MCU. By this, I mean that in the show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they have, at the end of their final season, last season, season 5, they started interweaving it with what was happening with Avengers Infinity War and how Thanos was coming to the planet, and they had to deal with that because the arrival of Thanos was imminent. So they were in the same universe. In fact, for the first 2 or 3 seasons, they've done crossovers with the movies, the MCU movies. They've had Lady Sif has been on, even Samuel L. Jackson Fury has been on the show. But now they finally decided that it's just too hard to continue the continuity between the movies and the show. And so their timeline now completely contradicts what's happening in the MCU. So, we had the flash forward 5 years in Endgame. Well, in this show, they only flash forward 1 year from the events of Infinity War, yet there's no mention whatsoever of the snap or half the galaxy disappearing, even though it's at a time in the timeline when that would necessarily have happened. So they're just ignoring it. They've just chosen to ignore it. I'm out.
I find that the one sentence that sums it up for me is that you're telling me that somehow that the writers can't figure this out.
Right.
They can't write around it or include it or do something, but we're just going to ignore it. That's
Act like it isn't happening.
so. Is the season currently going on right now?
It is. It started Friday.
It started Friday.
Mhm.
Um, well, my question is to you: did you watch the first episode on Friday?
No, because I read the Reddit threads and the interviews with the creators, in which the creators of the show said they're ignoring the snap. And then I got pissed off and said, fuck you then.
So you didn't even want to come back to sit there because they were ending on that sort of cliffhanger with Thanos and everything else, and then instead of picking up after the snap and dealing with all the wreckage, we're just going to be like, so what's going on over there? I don't know. We've got like some sort of earthquake. We're going to have to go investigate.
Right.
You're like, wow. Well, to be quite honest with you, Bill, I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Mhm.
but I find that to be unacceptable as well.
It's unacceptable.
And the thing about it is, don't they pride themselves on everything being interconnected? Isn't that
That
the
was the original premise. But ever since Perlmutter took his blocks and ran away, and they separated the TV division from the movie division, it's been a clusterfuck. And it's
Is
just
this
gotten worse.
Perlmutter's doing? You know I
I
can't
don't
stand Perlmutter.
I don't know if it's Perlmutter's doing. It's that the company is separate. There are two separate entities. Marvel Studios is separate entity for Marvel Television, and Marvel Television is what does Agents of Shield and all the Netflix shows and all the stuff that's not successful. And Marvel Studios is the one that do the $3 billion movies.
This is
So
such an opportunity for them while they're in there. Who am I to explain to a company that makes billion-dollar deals over lunch? Whatever. But in terms of creating synergy, this is a perfect opportunity while they're trying to push forward with their next phase to just have like a TV show kind of go over some of the finer points that they might not address
it
or
is.
deal with some of the stories of. It's an opportunity for them, to. It's just the details, the devil in the
I can
details.
tell you, as somebody who was
There's so much you
promised,
could do.
yeah, but as a fan who was promised at the beginning of this show 5 years ago, the whole reason I started watching the show was because the promise was it was going to be connected to the MCU. They were bringing Coulson back to life that they killed off in the movie, and that it's all connected was the catchphrase. And ever since they started this show, all through the last 4 seasons, it's become less and less so, to the point where now they've just completely disconnected from the movies, which is fine. But the whole reason I watched this show and got invested in this show in the first place is because it was supposed to be set in the same universe as the movies that I was already invested in. So the only hope of interconnectivity that we have as TV fans of the Marvel universe is Disney Plus, which is going to be done and run by Kevin Feige himself, and is going to be he's spoken quite frequently about the fact that these shows are going to be intricately connected to the movies. So I guess I'll just wait until then. But that doesn't get my 5 years of watching this crap back.
So you're not going to feel a certain way like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in when you read that people are like, oh, this Agents of Shield season is so great, like it's so much fun. You don't think it's something you might reconsider?
No. I'll reconsider when they say, oops, we're going to retcon the whole disconnectivity thing into being, something that makes logical sense. And it's actually going to be this, and this is the reason why we ignored the snap. And
let me ask you: Are you alone in your feelings, or is there some sort of mob mentality out there on Reddit or Twitter or something
Reddit
else,
is reading
sort
them
of
filth.
echoing your concerns?
Reddit is reading them filth for it, because it's ridiculous. So, yeah, Reddit's having a field day. Twitter's having a field day, but there are people who are defending it too. Like, well, now the show can go off on its own direction and not be beholden to the movies. I don't care. I don't care. The only reason I cared in the first place is because the show was supposed to be connected to the movies, and it's not. They could have just told me this in the beginning and saved me 5 years of TV time, but okay. So be it. So
Okay.
I'm out. Exit stage left. Bye-bye, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You're a strongest spirit. You just cut that off your weekly rotation.
Yeah.
What are you going to replace it with for date night? What's going to be going to be next up
we
there?
got the Tyler Perry shows. So we got ghetto soap operas, RuPaul's Drag Race, and there's a couple shows starting this summer. They're like soapy shows that we might watch. So.
What other? I didn't get to click on that article that showed that some shows were canceled and some shows were renewed. Is there anything that pops up of?
I told you about your
notes?
show. The Passage is gone.
The Passage, right? What is it? Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell or whatever
Right.
else.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't very. It was well. When I say very good, it's like whatever. You watched like all 12 episodes. I think towards the end it just was falling apart, but I still put the audio book in my queue to listen to because I'm kind of interested.
So what are you listening to on audiobooks now?
Well, no, what I'm still waiting for because I'm just too cheap to sit there and just buy it from Amazon or Audible or whatever else like that. I have Dune. I want to do Dune. The Passage, and there's something else, but I don't have my.
You're on the
phone
waiting list for Dune?
Oh, and also would say The Man in the High Castle, Philip K. Dick. So I'm waiting for 3 audiobooks for sure. But it's something like I don't know if it's because we're doing a Dune remake or if there's just Dune is still just popular. Either way, it's like.
Doesn't that drive you crazy that you're waiting? Because it could be like, how long will you wait? How long have you been waiting for these books already?
It's been like 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months?
I'm sorry, at least 2 months. 2 months.
2 months?
Uh-huh.
What is this, Russia? Do you have to stand in line 3 hours for a roll of toilet paper too? Really?
That's hilarious. I've sat here for 2 months of my life, and essentially, I could have probably. I'm gonna look it up while I'm talking.
Go to Audible.
And just got like a free download book
free
or something.
Download from Audible.
It's
It's free, and you don't have to wait 2 months, which is ridiculous.
So I could go to Amazon, and it gives me the audiobook free with Audible trial. I get 2 free audiobooks, 2 free Audible originals to get you started, and 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals per month after trial.
For
And
how
it's
much?
$14.95 a month after 30 days. $14.95. I can tell you right now, Superfan Melissa is running the world, but I don't know if she's paying
Here's what you
14.95.
do, Jay.
We're going to the
Get
library and pulling up Canopy.
go
What?
to the Audible website or through Amazon. Download your 2 free books and cancel before the trial's over.
This is why you don't have an eBay account, Bill. Okay, that's just
Really?
I mean, what I'm gonna do? I'm like this. They're gonna be like, this guy. I can't believe it. He signed up. He got his Dune book, and then he canceled us.
Yeah.
And then
Do
he
you
had the
think
nerve to come back 6 months later and try to sign up again with a different account.
that people don't do that? People do that. I guarantee you people do that.
Yeah, I I, I don't
Or you
know.
know what you could do? Wait another 6 months for a fucking book. There you go. That makes more sense.
Apparently, for me to buy the audiobook, it might be $28. Does that make any sense?
Can you buy it used?
Um, uh, I don't think so. Audio download?
Oh, I thought you meant the actual set
No,
or
yeah,
disc.
for me to buy the paperback, it's like 786. But who wants that or the Kindle? Who wants to read? Who
I know,
reads?
right? I know. If it's not on a screen, I don't want to read it. I know it sounds completely ignorant, and I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Um,
It's just the truth.
yeah. So you have some shows. What other was canceled? Any new additions or something else?
Well, I mean, there are still sort of shopping pilots around, so they haven't really announced like everything that's coming next year. Um,
Is there anything you're looking forward to that you're like, I gotta, make a mental note of this?
Honestly, not really. I mean, Watchmen is one. I mean, the Disney Plus shows start this fall, so The Mandalorian.
Okay. Mindhunter season 2 starts in August. That's a show. Chernobyl also drops on HBO. I think it started today or yesterday. It's a
Is it
TV
a
series.
miniseries or a series?
It's a TV miniseries. I don't know how
Okay.
many episodes, but it looks like it's only they're instead of releasing all episodes, they only released 2. I think it's more than that.
On
I think
Netflix?
on
No, HBO.
HBO. But I'm looking. I kind of want to watch the Chernobyl thing. I think I want to add a book to that because I find that to be an interesting historical thing, if you will, believe it or not. Um, I forget what other things that were kind of shows that are going to be popping up. I see that there's some. What is it? Marvel show. What is it? Hellstrom. Um,
And Ghost
Ghost
Rider
Rider and Hellstorm,
and Glyph.
and what?
Glyph?
GLYPH.
Hmm.
What the hell is that?
It looks like a unicorn meets a ram. Some kind of like fantastical creature, like that thing from the Guillermo del Toro movie Pan's Labyrinth. It looks like sort of like that. I don't know. I
And
guess it's a
this
comic. I guess it's a comic. I don't know.
is this one of those newfangled comics?
I don't know. It just they're building up supposedly a new Netflix universe on Hulu. Uh,
Nadine Hassan is a young teenager rescued by the Howling Commandos after she lost control of her abilities to summon ancient spirits. Is that the one? Is that the
okay.
clip?
If you're looking on the Marvel Wiki, probably.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that seems very multicultural.
Yeah. Uh, I've sat through one of their universe connected story things on Netflix before. I'm not gonna really easily go into a whole another thing where they're just gonna.
Oh, look at you! You sound a little bit burned. You
I am a
sound
little bit burned. I mean, we're still gonna watch Jessica Jones, but that's like the last Marvel Netflix show that's still yet to be released. But I didn't find any of them, all that fascinating anyway. So I'm not necessarily looking to get involved in another Marvel bastardized spin-off series of shows.
I feel sad for a lot of these shows that have just not found our eyeballs. I mean, you still never gave Cloak and Dagger a chance, huh?
Ugh, no. I'm sorry. I don't think the leads are attractive at all. Either one of them.
This is the only thing about it is now with so much content, as I always say here, it's now become a point to. It's not like it's only 3 channels like when we were growing up.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they have all these shows that are dropping all over the place, and now you have to make judgment calls on some of them, and then others they have to sell you fairly quickly that it's worth investing your time on. Otherwise, you'll just move on to the next one. You're just like,
Well,
okay, if I'm not down with one thing,
you have Hulu. Are you going to watch this Ghost Rider Hellstrom Glyph thing?
once I see a trailer, yes.
Okay.
The answer depends on. I'm sorry, when I say yes, it depends on the trailer. I'm open to it, and certainly I put a lot of other garbage in my queues before. There's a lot of crap that I watch and have to fast forward to. I'd be willing to give it a shot, but it just depends on. I mean, it's the same thing when I looked at you. You were there for me when I was sitting there going, I think I might give Runaways a season 2. And then I
Mhm.
pulled it up and watched like the first 5 minutes of season 2 or whatever it was they dropped, and I was instantly out. Like I did not want to go on this journey. Um,
And that's how I feel having been burned with the Netflix shows with this Ghost Rider stuff. I liked the character of Ghost Rider. I liked the movies, all 2 of them with Nicolas Cage. I did not care for the version of the Ghost Rider that they had on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Gabriel Luna, although it's just so wackadoo. They're bringing back Gabriel Luna as Ghost Rider in this new show, but he's not going to have anything. It's not going to have any connection to the character that he played on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I guess they're rebooting it, but with the same actor. I don't know. Whatever.
oh, okay. By the way, I know it's random, but I finally ate at Culver's and had the fish and chips.
And as expensive, I told you it was.
Oh, it was actually I thought it was going to be like $18 or $17. It was $10 for a 2-piece North Atlantic cod special.
Yeah.
And by the way, I noticed with Culver's, this is not Europe. We had one of our friends that we play football with came back
Uh,
from Spain, and he was commenting on how like he couldn't find any vegetables out there when he was eating, and that the portions are a little bit small, but they're quality. I
uh-huh.
find that Culver's really just kind of loads it up there. I ordered a 3-piece because I felt like two
Oh
pieces
my
was
God.
enough.
No, they're huge.
They're huge. So
Yeah.
I was sitting. I just ate it for lunch before the show because I had leftovers. Because I'm like, I can't eat all of this. It's so it's like they're pumping them full of steroids.
So is it good? Was it good? Was I right?
It was good. It's not fish and chips. Arthur's Treacher's fish and chips. But it was certainly um,
Now
it
you're
was
making
good.
me want some. Yeah.
What more can I say? I ate it the next day for lunch, and I usually don't do leftovers or reheat food. That's
Right.
exactly what I did. So I ate it, and the
Well,
dogs
good
ate some
for
of the
good.
fish.
Oh, really?
I wish you would have told me that they were huge. I got to save
Well,
myself $2.50.
it's still cheaper than it is here. For a 2 piece here is $12.29,
Oh,
and
what are they charging you? What is that? An extra upcharge? Oh,
I don't know.
is that to keep out the riffraff out of your
It's
area?
cost of living charge, I suppose. I don't know.
They want
Um,
to make sure that nobody else just wanders in that shouldn't be in your neighborhood.
yeah, but a 3 piece is like $14. So,
I think you would do well in a gated community. I think that's really where your ultimate.
oh yeah,
Uh,
me too. I was accidentally born into regular people dumb. I was actually supposed to be born rich, but that's another story for another show.
Mr. Bill, welcome back. I'll lift the gate up for you. Thank you, Jeeves. Thank you. Please call the police. I saw some, I don't know, some thuggish people walking around there. They don't look like they belong in this area. We'll do. We'll do, Mr. Bill.
So,
What else? Our boys, when you mentioned Game of Thrones, obviously tonight's another episode. More and more, I mentioned this to you in our private conversation, is that I feel as though the people are calling them on their shit now. I
Game of
know that,
Thrones.
yeah, that's not necessarily, I don't have any empirical evidence. I know reading 2 articles on Yahoo, I'm making some bold statement. Yeah, I got it. Okay, but I feel as though I've seen more and more, and I don't know if I'm just searching it out or popping up, but they're just they're there's questioning some of the direction and the writing and some of the setup for Game of Thrones, and they're just saying that this shit's just not good, and they're pointing out inconsistencies and all other sorts of things that it seems fairly obvious to me, and it's driving me nuts. It's not going to stop me watching it. I'm going to be there till the bitter end.
Well, you only
Um,
have one more week after tonight, right?
I think it's either two or three.
Okay.
Um,
I think you're two.
uh,
You got two, including tonight.
okay, and it's fine. But of course, for me, I have to go to the whole idea of where do I put this show in the pantheon. And for me, I think you're able to divide up things easier. Like you're like, if I don't like a season, if I don't like, you're like, if I don't like Aliens 4, then you're just like, in my collection, I have Aliens 1, 2, 3, and 5. And so you're happy to keep out 4. But if I'm going to be doing other seasons, like The Shield, The Sopranos, and The Wire. Those are like the ultimate seasons of the show, and I don't know if Game of Thrones is going to make it there. And so
What about the
um,
first four seasons? Can't you just collect those?
the first 4, 5 seasons of Game of Thrones were just they were tight, they were perfect, and now it's just almost like they're just phoning this crap in. They're just like, we just got to get it done and get it out, which is sad. You would think after now you have so many people having these Game of Thrones parties and Superfan Melissa, they're well, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want anybody breaking into their house while they're away, but um they're going to watch parties. You would think that you would try to end on a high note. Like, this is, you have the money and you're given all the, I don't know, the help to succeed, and yet it seems sloppy. And having a coffee cup on set is not the biggest thing, but I think when you add that with what I would perceive like 15 other things, it just kind of questions like the quality control of what you're doing. You're just going with splash pages, and it's what the details that's what's matter. And superfan Carlos has rewatched all the seasons, and he is he sends me articles like every hour on the outer pointing out problems with Game of Thrones. Now he's going to watch until the end, but he's very mad at what we're given. And here, I've talked enough. I'm not going to go on
So
this
why don't
diatribe
you
again.
just
But George,
watch the first four seasons again?
I know, but it seems like incomplete. It's like having The Sopranos and having like 7 seasons of The Sopranos and only having like 4 in your collection.
Well, you don't
I
like the other
mean,
three.
I guess, but that's, and that in itself says that's why it's not in my all-time favorites. Then, I can't put it there I can't put it there in the list.
Okay.
So, but this is what George R. R. Martin said. He said that we have had 5 different Game of Thrones successor shows in development. I mislike the term spin-offs at HBO, and 3 of them are still moving forward nicely. He added that the one I'm not supposed to call, The Long Night, will be shooting later this year, and the 2 other shows remain in the script stage but are edging closer. What are they about? I cannot say, but maybe some of you should pick up a copy of Fire and Blood and come up with your own theories. So he's hawking more of his shit. The only thing I want to hear from Martin is that the book is finished and it's going
What
into
is the book
production
that
and
he's
should be out
supposed to be
shortly.
finishing that's been out in development hell for 5 or 6 years? What is this book called?
I don't know how to be late on shit by James Cameron. I don't know. It's The Winds of War. I think it might be The Winds of War.
Okay.
I don't know, Bill. It's the success has caught up to him. Um, now other people like Superfan Melissa, she's playing the role of you
Uh
in
huh.
these. We have a thread, a
Text
text thread
string.
called Tools of Thrones, um,
Let me guess who
which
that was started
you know.
by.
Well, the thing about it is, the funny thing is, I didn't know this on the Apple phone. You have a easier model, but we have all these groups. We have 5 different people in one group. You, me. my Chris, Superfan, Melissa, Neil, and Carlos, or whatever, the death thread, the
Right.
DED thread. But then there's another thread where it's just me, Carlos, Neil and Melissa. Then there's another thread where there's four. And so finally I was just like, you know what, this is confusing. And then Super Fan Melissa's got like 5 different phones. Okay. And so she was just like, I'm going to just use this phone because it's my personal phone. And I'm like, I don't know which one is which. So I decided to just call it like the Thrones thread because I
Okay.
didn't know. I saw, I'm like, oh, I can edit it. And I'll just call it the Thrones thread. And when
Okay.
I did it, apparently it shows everybody else what you called it. I'm glad I didn't call it like "idiots are us" or something. My friends would-
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh. And so I called it the Tools of Thrones. And
Oh, you
where
called
was
it
I
that.
going with this story? Anyway, she plays the role of you, Superfan Melissa, in terms of being positive.
Okay.
Like she's enjoyed some of the things that they've done, some of the fan service that
Right.
clearly is going on, and other things she just hasn't delved into. I don't know if because Carlos has taken all the crazy, but she's enjoyed it.
So she's
She's
like
fun.
I was in my old podcast where I used to have to defend Star Wars all the time to Star Wars quote fans unquote. Um, so she's trying to be like the voice of like positivity amongst all the negative, and she's probably feeling a little bit
Yeah. She ever put in one of your
concerned.
lines on one of the texts? I don't have it in front of with me. She's just like, well, the good news about all this stuff is that we can like give our opinions and that we all love each other and respect one another. I was like, I did a double take at that text.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
which is code for I have my own opinion and I respect yours. I hope you respect mine. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Right.
And so I don't treat her like you. I haven't doubled down on being like, this is clearly garbage.
Yeah, but
And,
what about Superfan Carlos? He doesn't hold back.
well, no, but his opinion is aligned with mine. And when somebody has
No,
their
but not hers.
well, no, but he hasn't attacked her. He just sends out articles that are clearly not flattering.
So he's just nondescript with his insults.
Oh yeah, he'll be like this. Once again, this is why Game of Thrones is going the way of crap.
Right.
Insert article. And then
Right.
Melissa will write, well, she hasn't written. She doesn't take the bait. She hasn't written, she'll just be like, well, I think that they're trying to do this and I really kind of like this. He'll follow that up with going, YouTube video, all the mistakes that Game of Thrones are making.
Sometimes I find that Superfan Carlos likes to geek up the drama a little bit with the texts.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find like he likes to drum up the people. He likes to get under people's skin sometimes, I think.
Yeah, well, he sends out the diatribe. He's watching all sorts of things. I mean, he's locked and loaded, but he'll be there tonight. I think last week or whatever else, he was with his girlfriend or something else, and she was playing some game where she was just like, "I want to watch Thrones at my house instead of your house," and he's just like, "Your TV's like 18 inches, okay?" And he's like, "The show's about to start," and she's like, "This is what I want." He's like, "God damn it." So, he's rushing over there. Then her internet wasn't connecting. Everybody's already started to watch the show. He's just like, you just sit there. You go, it's just my one night. I want to pull up my show. I want to watch it in real time. I want to not be disturbed. I want to have any internet problems.
So that I can hate on it as soon as it's over. Gotcha.
Hate,
Okay.
hate, more hate.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm not going to go down on the Game of Thrones. There's nothing I can do. I'll be there watching it like
Well, you've only
everybody else.
got 2 weeks left. That's the good news. The good news is, unlike where I had to sit through 13 episodes of Gotham where I was fucking over it, you only have 2 left.
So, did you see the It trailer? I know it's not in your wheelhouse,
I
but
did not see the trailer.
are you any chance of you watching it? You didn't see
Not
the
likely.
first one, but and it wasn't John Boyega. I think that I thought was in this It Part Two. I
Who the
think it was
hell
just
is it?
I don't know, just another random black guy. I mean, I
Really?
don't know. They all look alike. What the
John
hell?
Boyega doesn't look like. My God. And people talk about me. Okay, so it trailers, it 2. And
It was good. And it felt like the trailer was like 3 minutes. Um, but they pulled a scene from the movie, which you indicated to me that you didn't really like when they pull like a full scene from the movie.
yeah, I don't like that.
And but the scene was it was like spot on as to what I was just like this. you have me intrigued, and I want to see it, just based on you just because it's set it up and it's just very creepy, and it's not going for cheap scares. And I think it was a perfect way to kind of tease the movie coming up. Now, of course, yeah, I just pulled it up. It's a 3 minute trailer.
Okay.
Um, it ends with a whole bunch of cut shots, like of the clown, and then zip into something else and zip into something else. I think that's where it gets into just standard fare and pedestrian stuff. But but for the first 2 minutes, it's like a slow burn scene, which I think with horror movies nowadays, I think you kind of almost, in my opinion, after having seen so many horror films, I think it's probably best to do more psychological and things that take time to play out, as opposed to jump scares. Um,
Okay.
but anyway, I think this seems to fit that whole thing, and it looks good. I was a fan of the first It movie, and it looks like part two will keep my interest. I just didn't
So is
find.
part two based on a book or is it
Yeah,
just
it's the It book by Stephen King, which I listened to the audiobook, but it just wasn't that good. Like it just
so
was.
the it two then? I mean, I know it one is based on the book, but it two then is
Oh
based
no,
on
it's the same book. They've just
they
broken
just
it
didn't
up.
finish the whole book. Okay.
Right. They just the first part dealt with them as young kids. The second part deals with them as adults.
Got it.
So,
Is there an
eh,
it three in there somewhere?
no, but I'm sure if somebody else that was a greedy little pig. I don't know how much the first one made, but it did well in the box office. I remember.
Yeah, it did.
Um,
It was kind of one of those like sleeper hits like what's that one with the black people that get stuck in the chair?
oh, Get Out.
Yeah, that's it.
The production budget for the first It cost $35 million. It grossed worldwide $700 million.
Yeah, there'll be an it three if they have to get Stephen King to
I did
write it.
not know it made so much fucking money. Excuse my
Yeah,
language. It made $327 million domestically and $372 million worldwide.
it's a lot of
So,
money.
well, that being said, the It 2 trailer for me, it puts it on that whole like they're not phoning it in. It looks good. It looks good.
Right.
Um, not enough to get me out of my household, but whatever.
What does that take? Does it take what?
Oh, what's that movie that's coming out that I said I wanted to see that looked good?
Oh, Brightburn.
Oh, Brightburn on Memorial Day, May 24th.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's just a couple weeks.
Yeah, the evil Superman.
Oh,
Oh man, Bill. I can we put that on our like list of movies to see? What do we got
no.
coming up here? What do we have? We have
May 24th is Aladdin from Disney, and that's my date night with my husband. So,
wait, Aladdin comes out at the same time as Brightburn?
uh huh.
How are you gonna feel about it when Brightburn whoops Aladdin's ass at the
I'll
theater?
probably feel a certain way about it, but I mean, like I said, that was our first date going to see Aladdin. So we have
So
to.
I come down to your neck of the woods on July 2nd. And by the way, for the criminals out there that keep track of me on the podcast, I have ADT at my house. So we're not going to be doing some Craigslist shit where you think I'm on vacation. My shit's on lock up here.
Now,
Okay.
how can I ask? Do you suppose they're going to use their X-Men mind reading powers to figure out where you live? Because I don't know that we've ever said addresses on the show.
No, but I'm sure you can do some sort of Google search. It's not probably hard to find.
Hellmouth adjacent, Payne. I'm sure that's how they're going to find you.
Listen, your full name is encoded on the episode that's pulled up. Okay, it doesn't take a genius to kind
Yeah.
of.
And guess what, bitches? None of it's in my name, so try to find it. Go ahead.
They're like Ted Kaczynski living off the grid. But either way, my point is, I come down on what is it, July 2nd?
Yes.
What do you think for a movie that evening we can watch Brightburn? I don't know if it'll
You
be
think it'll still be playing in July, Jay?
okay. It won't be playing in July. Okay.
Probably
Can we
not.
just use your illegal torrent account? What's that thing, your VPN that you use to block yourself to download all the illegal stuff? Is that what
I
it's called?
mean, we can try it, but I don't know if we'll have a very, some of those torrents are not highest quality.
Oh,
So,
that's terrible. I don't know. So I didn't know
we'll see.
Brightburn comes out the
It
same
might.
time as Aladdin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what, two
You talk
weeks?
about two different ends of the spectrum. You one have a family movie that's playing on nostalgia.
Right.
Disney, also something called Brightburn, which is essentially a psychotic take on a Superman story, rated R.
Ironically, directed by James Gunn, who also works for Disney now, again, to direct
Yes.
Blade 3.
Um,
So,
I guess with Memorial Day, if you're trying to take your kids to the movies, that really pushes Brightburn to the bottom of
yeah, I
the
wouldn't
list.
expect it's going to be one of those box office runaway hits, but, you know, that's just me. It'll
Oh,
probably surprise me.
okay, all right.
But then
Um,
again, I think Aladdin's going to, I'll go on record saying right now, I think Aladdin's going to tank. So,
all right. Well, let's do a quick deep dive. Do you know any more? I'm going to do the deep dive here with my last thing here is Earth 616.
do I
What
know what
is?
it is?
Go ahead. You tell me. You know what it is?
I know a general idea of it. It's the main Earth in the Marvel Cinematic or the Marvel comic universe. In the multiverse, there's many Earths, and Earth 616 is like the main storyline where all those main heroes live.
And as a result of this is something that's now in the movie universe, right? That it's been alluded to now.
Right, in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, that
Did you
Mysterio is
see the
supposedly,
article that said that the 616 was underlined on a board in the Thor movie?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I think that Thor Dark World or something else like that, that they were
Yeah.
already planting seeds to set up this
So
multiverse.
Mysterio in the trailer, or the added clip that was shown on one of the late night shows, I think the cast was on like Jimmy Kimmel this week or something. And so it's not in the trailer proper, but I think it's in this clip that Mysterio says that he is from Earth 833, which is somehow another universe that was created or opened a gate towards when the snap happened from Thanos.
Okay. Yeah. How do you
I'm not
feel?
a huge fan of the multiverse concept. As a concept, I just don't know how I feel about it. I mean, they can make it work, and I hope if they go down that road that they do make it work. But it looks like they're going down that road, so I'm going to either have to hope it works or suck it up. So,
You know, um, I was reading more, and it said like I guess for what it's worth. I mean, it's not like I cross references there. The reason why it's 616 is they were just trying to come up with a high number and something almost just random, as opposed to being like Earth 500, as just say we're just another Earth amongst the other Earths out there. But this Earth that we're currently on is 616.
yeah,
Um,
which is just another Earth out of all the Earths.
right. I find that like with a lot of with yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I find that mostly in my comic book reading, the books that I've collected over the years that I still have boxed up over here,
Yeah,
that dealing with parallel universes, I only like when they were like self-contained. That they weren't huge storylines or something that was, going to be happening in perpetuity. It was
right.
just going to be like we're doing a 10-issue limited series and where somebody from Earth 833 invades Earth 616 and sees what happens, and you have it as a 10-book series and you're done with that story, as opposed to being like, this is the Wolverine from 731 meeting up with, Wolverine from 616. I just, it seems ridiculous to me.
It seems
And
ridiculous to me too.
and I don't really want to have to sit there and think about, because then it opens up to all sorts of things, which I don't mind, but I can see it open it up to being like cheap tricks. Like you thought that Wolverine dead, but that was Wolverine 821.
Right,
It's that was Iron Man. That wasn't actually Iron Man 616. That was Iron Man 777. He knew that when the snap was coming when he had the glove, and I don't know. I just don't want it to be played loosely for just cheap fake outs or something else
right.
like that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I just
I
don't.
hope they do it good because I don't know how I feel about it as a concept either. I think it's kind of a bunch of hooey, and I mean, I just find it's difficult for me to get my head around the whole idea that there are parallel worlds in which everything happens just in a different way in the same manner. So they have their
Right.
own version of
Like in the
Spider-Man,
yeah, with
their own
Earth
version of
833,
Superman.
is Peter Parker like evil or something, or is he a different person? I don't
Right.
know.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know.
I'll be curious. Um, that's all I got, Bill. I don't think I got any more. I think I gave all that I
One
could get.
thing I want to touch on before we finish is that Michael Rooker, who was in Guardians of the Galaxy, he played,
Mary Poppins, yo.
yes, supposedly is going to be King Shark in the James Gunn Suicide Squad.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, and so their casting is kind of on point. They're
Ooh,
getting kind of a lot of like cool actors. Idris Elba. The rumor now is that he's going to be playing Deathstroke. Um, so
Deathstroke. The same
yeah,
thing that Joe Manganiello was supposed to be playing?
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, that's the rumor.
Oh, oh, that's so rich. Oh, I like it. I like it, Bill. Tell me
I figured
more.
you would. So anyway, their casting is on point, and everything coming out of this movie sounds like it's something to be
This,
seen.
this is
But
this
I've got a
sounds
bad taste in my mouth.
it sounds so cool. And we have what Viola Davis as Amanda Waller
Yeah,
still.
she's like one of the only people coming back.
Are we bringing in
Ja-
Harley Quinn or is she out?
no, she's back.
Oh,
Supposedly, Jared Leto's being mysterious, but he might question mark be back. Um,
oddly enough, I know you feel differently, but I could probably do without both of them. But whatever. Okay, that's cool.
who's the guy that played the Flash villain?
Oh, Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, what is it? Jay White, Michael
No,
Jai,
no, I can't remember. It's Jay something.
Jay Courtney.
Hernandez? Jay Courtney, yeah.
Thank you. That was close.
Yeah. So anyway, at least the casting's on point. I guess we'll have to wait and
But
see
the
what happens.
characters are kind of cool. King Shark, Jay Courtney as Boomerang. I love the idea as Idris Elba as Deathstroke.
Really?
Deathstroke is like one of those cool characters. Just to me, it's like Doctor Doom. He's just
Really?
a cool ass villain with cool uniform and
But does he have any powers?
he's probably got the whole thing a little bit of extra strength. He's got super healing. He's like a hodgepodge of things. You
Okay.
know, good with weapons, sword and guns. It's just a hodgepodge, but nothing in
Well,
particular. Like,
it just pisses me off because it's becoming sort of like essential DC viewing. Even though I was really counting on Wonder Woman being the only DC movie I was planning on looking forward to seeing in the next couple of years. So this one, I'm still very annoyed at DC. I still don't. I think their universe is bullshit, and I think what they're doing with this reboot's bullshit. But
well, oddly enough, I'm okay with this. I'm hoping that it has. I feel like the first Suicide Squad had some good things going for it. There's a lot of things in there that I liked, and like if I could piecemeal out and get rid of some of the crap, there's something there. I'm just curious. Do you think that James Gunn is just going to go for a DC Guardians of the Galaxy, just
I
crossover?
don't
Or is
know.
he going to try to give it a little bit more flair or darkness? I don't know. What do you? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I know. DC can suck me until they make Superman 2. That's what I know.
this is
I
why
don't
we
really
don't
want
get
to hear.
invited to the DC parties right here, just because of that, because of your hatred.
Oh, but I didn't start out as a hater. I didn't start out as a hater. They made me this. They turned me into a hater with their nonsense and tomfuckery.
Well, I'm sorry. I want you to know that the Popular Cinema Podcast co-host Payne doesn't share this opinion. As long as I hear that Idris Elba is started as Deathstroke, I like it.
Oh, sure. Now you're on there, Jock. Before you were like, what is this crap? Joker's coming out, Birds of Prey. I don't give two craps. Now I tell you, Idris Elba's possibly playing a major character, and you're like, I'm back. I'm back, bitches. We're
Until
back.
I see a trailer where he comes out and he starts going, "It's Mother's Night, and I'm feeling it right." Yeah, when he starts doing some crap like that, dancing in the first one, I'll be out. I'll be quickly out, and I'll be shaking my head, looking at Idris Elba, going, "Why? Why? Tell me why."
And he's going to be like this with his fingers rubbing together. That's why.
I just got married. I need to build a new house for my wife.
Money
Um,
bitches. That's why.
okay.
That's the only other story I had.
I'm just not a fan of. I I don't want this to be focused on Margot Robbie. I know there's some sort of popularity with Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I just don't want her to be necessarily the whole thing like her shit's like Wolverine. Okay? I mean, her character is supposed to be crazy, but it's kind of, you know, it's like having Superman in a movie and you're focusing on Jimmy Olsen. I just don't I don't feel like
I don't. I feel like the whole Suicide Squad, if there's no Superman in this universe, is like focusing on Jimmy Olsen when you're supposed to be focusing on Superman.
dude, that's hilarious. I can see the staff going, "Listen, Bill, I think you need to remove yourself from the room right now and take a break." So your feelings and your concerns are well known here, and we're going to take that into consideration. And you're just walking out, just knocking over the pitcher full of water, going, "Fuck this! No Superman, no me." They're like, "Yes, yes, Bill, got it, got it. Just walk it off."
That's how I feel about it. That's exactly how I feel about it. Like I want to push over a pitcher of water on the way out. That's exactly right. Um,
All
Last
right.
thing though, Godzilla King of Monsters is getting kind of early raves, which is required viewing in my house because my husband's a Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah B movie fan. So that comes out the 31st, and it's directed by Michael Dougherty, which is one of Bryan Singer's minions, who wrote the script or wrote or directed also Trick or Treat. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah,
Krampus.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, you like Trick or Treat, so
uh-huh. And he wrote some of the X-Men movies, the Fox versions, and Superman Returns. So looks like I'll be visiting the old Lennox for a viewing of Godzilla King of Monsters.
oh, there you go.
Yay!
Oh, I look forward to you telling me how that goes.
Yeah, I look forward to you seeing it more than me, but okay.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna make Godzilla our pet? No, we will be his
Gojira.
pets.
Gojira.
Oh, you know what? I just hit my desk, which caused my monitor to shut off. That's one of the
Really?
yeah. That's the type of operation I'm having. It's like the clap on, but not purposeful.
Are we really wrapping the show up at 5 minutes to 4?
Is that a problem?
No, I just that's just another short episode for us. We don't usually have them this short, but
What are you
maybe
what are
it's
you
a new
talking
trend.
about? It's been 2 hours, Bill.
Has it?
Yeah, we started it at like 2.
We talked for 2 fucking hours?
Yeah,
That shit flies.
yeah.
Wish
Which is
work would fly
hilarious.
that fast.
My monitor is not coming back on.
Did you break it?
Yeah, me actually hitting the desktop caused the monitor to just shut off.
Maybe the cord is a little loose. Check the cord in the back.
Oh, okay, I guess I can do something like that. Oh, there, I see a blue light pop back on.
Look at that.
Wait, it's coming back on, but I have the screen that actually has our recording going on it, and
I
so
hope this recording works. I hope it doesn't happen like last time.
well, no, I mean, I don't know if I have any faith in that whatsoever. So we'll see.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like the monitor is coming back on. This shit's all held together by
Popsicle sticks and string.
yeah. I tell you what. So anyway, so let's just go to Box Office Mojo.
Okay.
Um, for the Mother's Day weekend of May 10th through 12th, apparently the people went out to see Avengers Endgame yet again, bringing in another 63. Who are these people going out in this third week, bringing in 63?
They're seeing it for the second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth time. That's what they're doing. It's the same people that've already seen it.
Just buy that shit on the streets in Times Square. What the fuck?
Not everybody lives in New York.
Okay, so it pulled in another 63. It's total worldwide. It's standing at $2 billion, $485 million. I don't even know what the record
So
is.
2.48 billion.
2.485.
Okay.
What's the record? Do we know what the record is?
Well, it's the Avatar, which is I think 2.7.
Oh, so it's got another chance. I mean, what did we say? That was like how many weeks? 10, 12 weeks for Avatar? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has only been the third week. Oh, that's such good money. Such good money. Oh, good for
Yeah.
them.
But they're not turning a profit on it, unbelievably.
So Ryan Reynolds, everybody loves his skit. So Pokemon Detective Pikachu is very cute. It pulled in $58 million.
Yeah, people are going to that saying it's very good.
Yeah, they're enjoying it. It made $112 million overseas, bringing its worldwide total to $170 million. It's
Are you going to
weird,
put in your
however.
Netflix queue?
Um, I may.
Okay.
It's a budget of $150 million. That's how much it costs, man. It's a lot of money for that. The number three movie in its opening week, The Hustle, which I will not be putting in my queue, with Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson.
Oh, right. We
Um,
saw the trailer for that.
I have to start cutting out some of the crap, and
Well, you can start there.
yeah, I just some of the jokes fell flat, and it just seems like one of those things that's devoid. It's like Boss Baby. Yeah, it's like a Boss Baby movie when I just give me a Pixar movie. That's what
Right.
I feel like it's giving me. So, um, yeah, I won't be renting it. So the number four movie, Bill, by Strange Screen Gems in its second week, The Intruder. A budget of $8 million, and it's grossed $21 million. The Intruder stars Dennis Quaid, Megan Good, and Michael Ealy.
I think I may have seen some kind of trailer for this.
Where Dennis Quaid is looking all bug-eyed, kind of walking
Right, right,
around the house, walking behind her.
right.
Apparently, it's enough that Dennis Quaid still has enough to bring in like $20 million. I mean, the budget is 8. Is that good? Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah. I mean, for the budget, sure.
Sure. The number five movie in its second week, The Long Shot, um, with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen.
So that's not doing that well.
No, it's its second week and it's number 5
Right.
million. So the answer to that is no. It's losing out to The Intruder.
I heard it was actually good.
It actually looks. I mean, I would rent it. I'm gonna put it in my queue.
Really?
It's funny, but yeah, but it's apparently not enough that people are like, I'd rather go see The Intruder with Dennis Quaid playing the same old shit of a stranger walking around your house. I mean, that's so funny to me that it's just like that's what it looks like, but
Right.
The Long Shot might be too much. I mean, it's got a little bit of politics in it, I would imagine. I don't know.
It's got Seth Rogen. Isn't he like box office poison?
Is he box office poison?
I kind of think he is.
Did you like him in Green Hornet?
No.
Wh-
I didn't like Green
Did-
Hornet, so
You did not like Green Hornet. Okay.
no.
Did you just not like the tone of Green Hornet, or did you just not like Seth Rogen as?
I didn't like the tone, and Seth Rogen I don't necessarily have a personal problem with, but it just seems like everything he makes turns to dust. So
Yeah. To me, if you told me that Seth Rogen was going to be a superhero, you might as well just not even think about getting the money from my cold dead hands, because I'm not giving it to you.
is it because he's a schlub or because he doesn't look the part
That's
or
exactly
what?
it. It's all,
But
A,
he
B,
lost
and C.
weight.
All of the above. Is there a D option in there? All of the above.
He got in shape for that movie though. I mean, he didn't stay in shape, but he
Not
got in
enough.
shape for
Not
it.
enough. Not the leading man material I need for my superheroes. You know I discriminate on a certain look, Bill.
I do.
When you say Seth Rogen and say superhero or whatever else, I'm out. I'm out.
Wouldn't you have said the same thing at one time about Chris Pratt though? When
But if
he
you're going to
was
be the Chris Pratt early on from Parks and Rec,
yeah, schlubby Chris Pratt, you would have said that's not my idea of a superhero, but he got in shape.
yeah, I
And
don't
then
think
you don't
Seth
have a problem with
Rogen's
it.
in shape looks like Chris Pratt's in shape.
I
And not to
would-
mention that Chris Pratt has also like, chiseled face, of, if you will, a little bit more than Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen just looks. He just doesn't strike me as like a man's man sometimes. So
Okay.
that's not his lot in life. I mean, God gives us all gifts. That's just not, I mean, that's just not. There's nothing wrong.
What
with
what
that.
what was the gift
You
that
know what
God
it is?
gave you?
What it is like this. Just stay in your lane. Okay, that's all it's saying. It's stay in your lane. It's like if I came to you and said, Bill, By the way, I'm going to be a leading man in a movie, and it's going to be opposite Halle Berry. You'd spit the milk out of your mouth and go, "What?" I'd be like, "No, no, no." They cast me because they're like, they feel like she needs somebody of equal, charm and great looks and whatever else. And they're like, "So are you playing some sort of like body double that's going to be in the grave or something like that?" No, no, no. I'm going to be in the movie opposite actor. You'd be like this. Yeah.
Speaking of Halle Berry, I've been watching the X-Men films in preparation, the original Fox versions in
Sure.
preparation for the final one coming out in a couple weeks here,
Okay.
June 7th, Dark Phoenix, which is a remake basically of X-Men The Last Stand, which let me just go on record and say is still my favorite of the original trilogy of X-Men films.
Boo.
So I was glad to revisit that and still find appeal in it for me.
Boo.
Um,
Yes.
but I'm so far up to I just finished Days of Future Past, and now I'm watching Apocalypse. And let me just say this about Hugh Jackman: he is in prime time shape in Days of Future Past. I
Yes.
mean, that's the ass scene, where he goes back in the past and gets up in bed with that woman, and he gets
Yeah.
up and he's like butt ass naked walking into the mirror, and they show like the full on scene of his ass.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's all I can say. He is
Yeah.
in
He
prime
wasn't
shape.
eating glazed donuts from Dunkin' Donuts on
Not
that day.
during the filming of that movie, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if Hugh Jackman, who's getting a little long in the tooth now, is ever going to be in that prime good shape in his life again. Which is part of the reason why he quit those movies, is because he was tired of having to like starve himself and work out 6 days a week for 6 hours a day. But it certainly paid off for him. I can tell you that.
Yeah. That's great. That's great that your whole X-Men diatribe from Halle Berry on, you ended all with about Hugh Jackman's naked ass. That's there you go. That's why our shit doesn't rise to the top because you're too busy dealing in porn instead of actually dealing with the movie subjects that we're supposed to be talking about. You're just like, yeah, Hugh Jackman's ass. I need Henry Cavill's chest out of there in Man of Steel. That's what I need. I need Man of Steel 2. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You're
I'm
just so
sorry.
simple. You're so simple. That's exactly what it is.
I'm sorry.
There's no way we can go on to Good Morning America and talk about our shit because you're gonna be like this. Man of Steel 2. Apocalypse,
Really?
apocalypse.
I'm just saying.
The number 6 movie, which we don't go to number 6, but it was an opening movie for opening week for the movie Palms with Diane Keaton, Pam Grier, Jackie Weaver, Bruce McGill, and Rhea Perlman.
What does a
Like,
POM stand for? What's the acronym?
it's these old ass bitches trying to be cheerleaders again with all the schmaltz
Really?
of like, you just got to chase your dreams, and sometimes you just got to do some things even when people look at you funny. These are some of the lines in the trailer. So, schmaltzy.
So
Rhea
it
Perlman.
is exactly what it sounds like, a pom pom. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rhea Perlman's like,
Okay.
I want to be a cheerleader. Well, you can do it, girl. Let's go shake our palms. And the
And
crowd's
this
all
is the
cheering.
opening week.
Yes. It
It's
pulled
number
in.
6.
Yes, it pulled in
Okay.
$5 million.
All right. Well, I guess this is what you expect when you release a movie with older actresses playing cheerleaders. I mean, no one's going for that, right?
Well, I mean, you might go for it if it actually had something more than what I just said, like some schmaltzy ass bullshit lines like that. Just chase your dreams, Rhea Perlman. I want to be a cheerleader at 78. Well, you can do it. Come on. I mean, honestly, are we? Who's seen? I guess for Mother's Day weekend, I guess that's the type of like generic white bread affair that you want to go take your mom to. That it seems like that's perfect to opening for Mother's Day weekend. But otherwise, that shit's not going
Well,
to make
apparently it's not perfect to open Mother's Day weekend either. It made $5. So apparently no time was a
because
good
those
time.
old ass mothers are like, I just want to sit in my house and eat my Jello. I ain't trying to go to a movie for a yacht. I mean, that's the problem with that. You're like,
See,
Mom, I
this is,
want to.
and then people want to complain when nobody wants to release movies with actresses of a certain age. But just like the black movies that weren't labeled Tyler Perry before Black Panther, if you don't go out and support it, it's not going to get made. So your old bitches are going to have to sit in the house and do your Jello or whatever, but you're not going to get any more movies because you don't
Let's
go
go.
see them when they come out.
Okay. The number 9 movie in its opening week, but it's only in about
Aren't you
15.
skipping around?
Well, the other two we don't know. Doesn't
Okay.
matter. But there's a reason why I'm mentioning number nine. It's Token. It
Oh
pulled
my.
in it pulled in $2 million, but it's only was released on 1,500 screens. You know,
Still,
which um,
that's enough to get it higher than number 9, I would think.
I don't know. I think that's bad. I mean, it's not
It's
like
bad,
somehow.
Jay. It's bad.
Well, it's not like somehow it's a action-packed film. It's more like a
No,
biography of
but
Token.
number 9 it should still be in first week of release. It's new. It should still be top 5 if it's doing anything.
When you're sitting there going, "What do you want to go do this weekend?" and you've got Detective Pikachu, Avengers Endgame, The Hustle with Rebel Wilson, and Palms and Long Shot, you're going to sit there and go, "I just want to go see Token." Who says that?
Nobody, which is why it's number 9.
Yeah, you would be like this. I'm going to go see Avengers Endgame again. I might have missed some stuff. That's what you'd be doing. You'd be like, I'm going to go to a third showing. I'll just wait for Token on Blu-ray.
Well, apparently. I don't know why they release it wide then. Why not just release it on Netflix and save yourself the trouble?
I would think that would seem. I don't know. Is 2 million good?
No,
For
it's not. It's not. It's terrible. It's terrible.
maybe it cost only like 800,000 to make. Maybe
And
it's like
there's no such thing as a movie that costs $800,000, Jay. There's no such thing.
okay. Well, that's going to be tough when they walk into the PCP studio, and I'm going to have to sit there and chop some heads off.
I mean, I'll still get it. I still want to see the movie, but damn, I'm just shocked that it did so poorly.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, it's been fun, but it's Mother's Night.
Well, you can't wait to sink your teeth into that Belgian waffle, can you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you
We got
making
the
those?
kid. We're making waffles, but you got the kid upstairs who wants to cook breakfast for her mom. But she's the kid that cooks blackened chicken and always sets off the fire alarms in the house. so, so it's always a running joke when she talks about cooking because I'm just annoyed because I could live in
It's
my
just-
place for a year and not have the alarms go off, but she cooks one meal and everything's like the dogs are going nuts running around. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. You know.
That's funny. Well,
So
maybe you can supervise while she's cooking and you can just help her not burn everything.
yeah, I'm gonna try, but part of it is I just want to just give me the pans and let me set it up. But I'm gonna try to stay on my lane
Right.
and just you can't fuck up bacon or sausage. So that's
Well, you can, but it's hard.
okay. And then I'll just work on something like my pancakes. So I'll find my place in the mix. But everybody's coming,
Great.
so that'll be nice. And then hopefully they'll stay for a couple hours, and then I'll kick everybody else out, and then let's just try to do Game of Thrones. Work on my arcade cabinet for the rest of the week.
Right.
Um, and I got to figure out a speaker template. This is where the people are like, these motherfuckers, I turned this shit on for movies and TV, and he's going off on like templates for his arcade cabinet. That's exactly what I'm doing.
It's our show. We can do what the hell we want.
There
They
you
don't like
go.
it. They can turn it off.
But I guess I'll just talk to you off air or send you a text on it. I need a template for how to drill an arcade cabinet. It's very hard.
Did they come
Uh,
with the directions that you bought?
no, it has a template on how to do something called a bar top arcade cabinet. I'm doing
Okay.
a full size arcade cabinet, which is what I purchased the instructions
Okay.
for,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have a template for that, which is
Oh,
kind of like annoying to me.
sure. As it
Because
would be.
clearly on the video that he has for the full size, he has a different design, and but whatever, this is whatever. I'll figure it out
It's off
somehow.
air talk.
Anyway, Bill, what do you got going on tonight as we wrap this up?
I'm going to continue watching the X-Men films. I will be finishing, hopefully, maybe not, Apocalypse, and then I will be caught up. So
Are you with our San's husband tonight?
I'm Sans.
Ooh.
So yeah.
How were they? We watched a Deadliest Catch. I watched that for the first time last night.
Oh, really?
I don't watch that show, but Chris left it on because apparently she has watched that show, and they were pulling up King Alaskan Crab.
Really?
And so
Do
I
you
don't know.
go, Bill has had that on his dinner plate right about now?
I do. Those suckers were huge. Was your crab
It
legs
was
good?
delicious. Crab legs are my favorite food of all foods.
Ah,
Put that
you like to
shit in a
work
little
hard for
bit of
that. Are
butter.
you like licking those crab legs? How are you getting all that meat out of there?
You just crack them open like nuts or egg shells, and then break them open and stick your fucking finger in there.
Is it very messy?
It's really not. The messiest part is just the shells,
Uh-huh.
but you just throw the shells in the trash and you're good to
Do
go.
you get a lot of meat out of there or no?
You do. It depends on. I get jumbo crab, so yes, you do get a lot of meat out of there. But they're more expensive, obviously. But that's okay. Some things are worth the money.
Where do you get the jumbo crab from?
Giant eagle.
And they're good? I mean,
They're
what do you
delicious.
Okay. All right.
You're
So what do
making
you
me
have?
hungry for crab now. Damn it.
Okay. All right. We'll stop then. So
Okay,
it's going to be. So you have to work tomorrow?
I do.
Okay. So it'll be like the last night and everything else like that. Well,
Do
that's
you have to
fine.
work tomorrow? That's a joke. Asshole.
In theory, I do.
Yeah,
So,
whatever. In
uh,
practical reality, I do. So
yeah. So that being said, we will. Hopefully, the episode will download, and I
yes, I
won't
hope
have
so.
to
If not, let me
contact you.
know.
Yes. Otherwise, I'll send you the link of where it's not at, and you can do your magic again.
All right,
And if it happens a second time, then you can tell me how to do it, so I won't have to contact you on it and just
that's
do it on
fine.
my own.
Sounds
Anyway,
good.
Bill, it's been a pleasure. I hope you
Absolutely.
have a good night,
You too.
doing your own thing,
Yes,
and
sir. I'll talk
prepare
to
for
you
me
later.
at 4:30 to be bitching about Game of Thrones. So
I will.
I've been your co-host, Payne,
I'm Bill.
and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.